It's Frank! It's Frank, the guy that helped me out with that,
Get your daily delivery.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
We have another tip for you.
Oh, really? Hold on. My boy Frank, the UPS guy, he gave me another tip. I'm right near my house. Older Toro. Looks like it's in good shape. Something's up with the handle though. Put it in my car. Another Frank the UPS guy's tip. Took this home, pulled it about 6 or 7 times, started right up. However, the self-propulsion doesn't work. See that? Up with the belt or the cable. So it's the belt or the cable. It's one of those. You know, this looks like a Honda engine, but if it was a Honda engine, I'm sure they would tell you it's a Honda engine. You know, they would advertise it as a Honda engine. And it doesn't say anything that it's a Honda engine. So I think this is one of those Chinese copies. Chinese clone engines, that's what it is. Yeah, runs pretty well though, you know. I don't know how old this is. You guys seen this model before? Toro Sr4 Super Recycler. Guaranteed to start. Well, it did start. Ain't no labels or model numbers anywhere, so I don't know. But it's definitely not a Honda engine, but it's a clone. Oh, wait a minute, here we go. $20381. Still doesn't tell you about the engine though. Flip this on its side. Looks like something, the belt, see the belt? Belt's on top, okay? It's not in between the belt guard. It's not on the crankshaft. So that's why it's not working. That's easy fix, man. Another good score from Frank, the UPS guy. Thanks, Frank. So it's a new day now. It's a nuevo dias. And I did some research on this Toro Sr4. It's actually, when it was made, it was selling retail for $4.99. That's a lot of money. The one with the Honda engine was like $5.99. So because it has the clone Chinese engine, it's $100 cheaper. But still, $4.99 is a lot of money for this. I wouldn't pay $4.99 for it. Anyhow, so, you know, as you guys know, it starts, no problem. It takes like 4 or 5 pulls though. I don't really like the fact that it takes 4 or 5 pulls. It should just pull once. So I think carburetor needs cleaning. But the first thing we have to do is get that self-propulsion to work. And as we, you know, opened it up last time, just lifted it up and looked on the bottom, we saw that the belt was off the pulley. So I'm going to address that right now. The reason why I'm doing these mowers right now is because there's only a couple of weeks left in the mowing season. Winter's around the corner. This lawn boy I got from my buddy Pete Lombardi, it's missing a recoil starter. Anyway, I'll address that after I fix this one. I'm putting this off for now because this is not a priority. Priority is to get your lawnmowers fixed so that you can sell them before winter comes. This ain't going anywhere for a while, so I'll do that when I have nothing else to fix. So I'm going to put this on its side, and we're going to take care of that belt. So I have it set up that it's flipped on its side like that. Since we're messing with the bottom down there, we're going to pull this off because you don't want to have any accidents. So this gives no possibility of the engine starting. Damn it. Of course, prying that off, I broke the spark plug. It was on there so damn tight, you know. It's actually bent a little. As I'm turning it out, it feels bent. I'm going to find another spark plug for this. So in my box of stuff, I actually found another spark plug here. This is better. This is NGK. Much more expensive than the no-name brand. And there we go. So now, got a half-inch socket there on one of the engine bolts. It's attached to this guard, the belt guard. It goes all the way down. You just loosen one of them, you can bend it out a little bit. As you can see, the belt is stuck outside that guard, and it's supposed to be where that pulley is. We check the back part. That's the pulley right there, and you can see the belt is around the pulley, so that we don't have to worry about. Let's just hope that the transmission works and the gears and all that stuff, and that the only reason why it doesn't work is because the belt is not attached to the crankshaft pulley. So I'm gonna take that bolt off, bend this guide to the left a little bit so that I have room to slip that belt back onto that crankshaft pulley. We removed that spark plug wire so it has no chance of starting up and cutting my hand off. See that? There's the belt. Oh, getting old, guys. Things be a creaking. I gotta use two hands, guys. I just took this belt, put it on top of there, and just rotated the blade this way while putting my finger there to hold it. And then it just goes around by itself. So there's quite a bit of slack here, right? The idea is that there's slack when you don't engage the handle. Once you engage the handle, hopefully something pulls on it, gives it some tension, and therefore that way it drives the belt with the crankshaft while it's moving. So I'm gonna put the spark plug boot back on and try pulling it and see if the self-propulsion works. This is out of the way, but I'm not going to secure it yet until we find out if it works or not. So I just started it up, and wouldn't you believe it, with that new spark plug in there, it started up first pull. So probably that spark plug had a cracked insulator already, you know. Anyway, so I just took it and mowed that little section over there, and it mowed well, and the self-propulsion does work. However, it seems like it's a little weak, you know. When I push down on the handle there, it, you know, on ground, it, you know, pushes forward and stuff, but on the grass, it doesn't really that much, you know. So either the belt needs to be tightened, or the engaging cable is stretched out a little bit and needs a little bit of an adjustment. But right now I'm going to put this bolt back on. And there you go. It's good to go. So, the way this mechanism works is when you push down, on this handle, it pulls this cable upwards, pulling this that way. So to make it tighter, I'm going to loosen this nut, right, and move this back like a millimeter or so, and that should tighten it a little bit more. So now it doesn't start anymore. So I'm going to tip it on its side again, and I'm going to take that bowl nut off and take the bowl off and see if there's anything obstructing the carburetor. All Honda engines are 10mm. Even though this is not a Honda engine, the Chinese copy everything exactly. And actually, Honda's one of those, this is going to drip Earl. Actually, just for a while. Some water in there, very little, but it's pretty clean. I'm going to blow out the holes a little bit with some carburetor cleaner. Alright, pulled start a few times. It kind of stumbles, you know. It starts a little bit, you know, but not full throttle, so I don't know what's up with it. Has that auto choke, so engine's hot, right? And so the choke is open. I manually closed it with the screwdriver, and it wanted to start a little bit, but not really. So I don't know what's up with it, man. It was working just fine before, you know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Just drained the gas. It's orange color. No water in it, though. I'm going to drain the rest of this gas out and blow out the lines with compressed air. Put some fresh gas in there and see if it works well. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have to take the carburetor completely off and see what's up. That's all it was. Skanky gas. But self-propulsion doesn't work. Better if some propulsion work. It's kind of hesitating. Hear that? I don't have the air filter on. Yep, I didn't have the air filter on. Probably sucked in some grass. That's retarded. Well, you know what? I didn't feel good about the way it sounded anyway. I'm going to take that carburetor apart. I go a long way without without doing Honda motors, and now this week I've done 2. I did that Troy built, remember? That was a Honda motor, real one. It's pretty dirty. Take that bracket off. This screw right there. Disconnect the fuel line and just slowly take off these linkages. It's very clean. I'm gonna take that jet out though. Took the jet out. Took the emulsion tube jet out. It is really clean. Really clean. So I'm kind of puzzled as to why it doesn't start right, you know. Put the jet back in. Put everything back together. Put everything back together again. This carburetor is very clean. Cleaned up the base a little bit. It was all cruddy before. Brush that off too. Put that on. Put everything back, and I'm going to give it a pull. Try to figure out the self-propulsion. Well, I just mowed the lawn with it. Runs pretty good, mows very well. And then I shut it off, and I can't start it again. So I think it needs a needs a valve adjustment. It's difficult to start. And self-propulsion still doesn't work. This is not an easy fix after all. And it doesn't even have the bagger, you know what I'm saying? So even though this thing was worth $499, I don't know, man. No bagger, self-propulsion doesn't work. I don't think I'm going to get too much for this. I mean, I guess I'm going to do a valve job. Not a valve job, a valve adjustment. I'm going to take that valve cover off and get some feeler gauges. Do a valve lash. Took the two 10mm bolts off of here. Now we can see it's on there good. When you engage the personal pace downwards, it tightens. I think the issue isn't the belt, it isn't the handle or the cable, but rather the gears on the wheel is probably stripped, because I was spinning this like that, right? This really wasn't moving under load, so it I think the gears are bad here. I'm going to take the wheel off and see. It's a 1/2 inch. Guess it was like this. Well, as you guys can see, I mean the gear looks a little rubbed, doesn't it? Definitely worn gears. It's pretty worn too. But, you know, when it's going, it doesn't grind. It doesn't make the grinding noise, so it's probably working. Goes backwards, okay. Maybe I should change a belt. Nope, I just figured it out. Transmission's busted. I put my hand here and held it, right? Holding this. I'm also pulling this, right? To spin it. If I hold that, it just spins. I mean, I can hold it and it doesn't move. So, it's transmission's screwed. So, I mean, I'm just going to sell it as a push mower then, you know. That is, if this thing ever starts, you know. It doesn't start easily. So I'm going to have to check out the valves. So I'm going to put this stuff back. I know the transmission's bad, so there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, it power assists a little bit, you know. Spending a lot of time on this clone engine. What are you going to do? Stop and don't do it? You know? Gonna have to do it. Hot. Well, seems okay. Seems really clean too. Remove the spark plug, and I have the screwdriver here. Got it at top dead center. I mean, it's loose, but it's not like, you know, terrible, you know. It's pretty loose too, but in terms of gappage, I think it's okay. I mean, just by looking, you know, and feeling, there's not that much give here. I mean, it rattles at top dead center. They're all gonna rattle, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like there's any bushings or anything there. It's just, but if you feel the distance between the exhaust side and the intake side, it's not that much. I don't know what the specs are, but intakes are usually 4, and exhaust is usually like 6 or 7. Feels okay. It's not completely out of control that it wouldn't start right. I'm gonna get my feeler gauge. Here's the intake side. It's at 4. It's pretty good. It's pretty tight. I'm gonna do the bottom now. That's the 6 for the exhaust. It's good, man. Slips through there fine. Valves are fine. Unbelievable. I'm gonna put it back. And it just starts on one pole again, so I don't know. It's Chinese clone engines, man. Sounds nice when it starts, you know, but I don't know. Something hinky about it, man. Check the valves, lash, clean the carburetor. It starts when it wants to, I guess. You know what? I'm going to walk away from this a little bit and come back later. See if it starts right up again. My next victim. This mower doesn't seem to be very reliable. I can't figure out why it can't start it all the time reliably. So I'm going to hold on to it until I figure it out. See you guys next time.